Hey, welcome to Undercover Adventure. Today we're going to talk to Elizabeth Temple. Elizabeth has been one of the ladies that spearheaded a group in Crossville called Running Crossville. She's a mom, she's an entrepreneur, she's just one of those ladies that gets out there almost every morning at 4 o'clock and pounds the pavement and sets an awesome example. She's currently training for the Boston Marathon. So, hope you enjoy the show.
I need to move this.
Yeah, just keep it like here-ish.
That's good.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, thanks for coming, Liz. Appreciate you doing this. I, I was turned on to you because you kind of exploded on the local like Middle Tennessee running scene, and so I've been following you, and I've been keeping tabs on like your progression, and you're crushing it, and you're getting out there and doing it every morning. So, did you grow up in Tennessee? Are you from here?
I grew up I was born in North Carolina. And then halfway through second grade, my parents moved to Tennessee for my dad's job transfer. And I lived in Knoxville from second grade till my junior year. And I went to Bearden High School. And then when we moved to Maryville, I went to Heritage High School, which is where I graduated. And then I've landed in Crossville
Yeah.
years later.
How
So
many years have you been here?
8. I guess this will be the ninth year.
Okay.
So we moved to Knoxville in 23 or 24. And then I had gone through a divorce and then recently moved back in July of this year.
Okay.
Or last year, I guess, technically.
So, how did you find yourself becoming an endurance athlete and a runner?
In 23, Jenny Ricks came to me. She used to own that hangout.
Yeah.
And I
Hey,
had
Jenny.
she knew that I was looking for Spartan. And she was like, I'm doing this program. You want to get in on it? And I was like, okay, this will be good. And at that time, my marriage was pretty rocky. And it was something that I could just channel positive energy into. And I just loved it. But then I got to a point where I'm like, I don't want all the mud all over me. This is fun, but I want to go faster.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, I'm going to sign up for my first half. And in 24, I did the Knoxville Covenant, and I was so proud of my time. It wasn't like anything super impressive, but for me it was. And I'm like, man, the human body is incredible. I went and did my first half, which is 13.1 for anybody who doesn't know. And I watched all the other people running the full keep going up this huge hill in Knoxville. And I'm like, that is unbelievable. I cannot believe that they can push their body. Because I was dead. When I
Yeah.
crossed the finish
Yeah.
line, I went straight to puke. That was my signature move. And I was dead. Body was
The
shaking.
Huck and
Like,
Chuck. Yeah.
yes. And so I'm like, man, I want to do that. And so I went a year and just didn't really do much. Just like right in the middle of my divorce. And I'm like, this is it. I don't want to be that person that runs around town just doing dumb stuff or hanging out at the bars. I wanted something that I could be proud of when I walked away. And so I reached out to Michael in January of 25 and said, I like running. I consider myself a runner, but I want to be a good runner. And so he said, well, do you want to finish strong or do you want to survive the race? And I said, damn it, we're going to finish strong. And I've been going ever since January of 25, and I have not missed a single run.
So go back to like you were talking about meeting Jenny Ricks and like starting your journey in functional fitness.
Mm-hmm.
So when what led you to be like I'm gonna start moving my body. I'm gonna start getting active.
Well, I ran track and did tennis in high school.
Okay.
I was always an active kid, even without sports, just running up and down the roads or throwing football with my brothers. So there was always working out of some sort, but it wasn't hardcore. I would do P90X in my basement or dabble in it here and there, but it wasn't until that fire was lit in me where I was like, man, this is actually good for me. You can have a bad day, you go pump out a workout or a run, you get that natural dopamine hit, and your day's already better. Because even if shit hits the fan,
Right.
if I'm even allowed to say that,
Yeah.
you are still like, I just did that, and it was hard. And while everybody else is sitting on their couch,
Yep.
I did that.
Everything else is gonna be easier today.
Yes.
Because I got this out of the way.
Yes, you wake up and your feet hit the pavement for an 8-mile run on a Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 4 a.m. Get home, get showered and ready for work, and get your kids up. By 8 o'clock, you've already done more than half the town has. And there's something that feels good about that. Like you were just contributing, you know?
Yep.
And once you discover what that can do for you, it pours into all aspects of your life. It's made me a better mother. It's made me a better friend, a better person. I'm present. It's been life-changing for me. And so once I felt that, I was addicted. That
Yeah.
was it.
So how long did it take? So you reached out to Michael and you're like, I want to get good,
Mhm.
like really good.
That was in January, and I was like, I want to do the full in April, and he was like, whoa, you sure?
Yeah.
And I'm like, what do you mean? I can do it. And that's when we had the you want to finish strong talk, and that was it. He sends my weekly schedule, and all you have to do is show up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So talk through, I guess what I'm getting at is a lot of people that decide they want to make a lifestyle change. They overestimate what they think they can do in 10 days and they underestimate what they can do in 10 months. And so what I'm trying to get at is like, when did it click in your head from like, I want to start doing a race or races to like, I am now a runner who runs almost every day and is like, this is part, like, how did it go from like, this is something I want to do to like, this is my identity?
Yeah. It trends. The Run Club probably did that for me.
Okay.
Like Michael talks about this quite a bit. That it's how do you know that you're a runner? When do you feel like a runner? And I think most runners don't. But when I planted that seed for the Run Club and just watching it grow, I mean, it's got like 380 something members now. Now, granted, there's usually the same 5 showing up, but
Right.
you know,
Right.
people
Right.
still they gravitate to it eventually. And then people started asking me about running advice, and then it was just all the time. And I'm like, you know what? I think I'm a runner now.
So dive into it. What's the Run Club?
So it's just a Facebook group called Running Crossville. And when I moved back from Knoxville, I realized there wasn't a lot of people to run with here, and the roads weren't very safe. And it's just, especially as a woman, you be with people, you know, keep your head on a swivel. And so I reached out to Marlo, Chelsea, Ashley, Sharon, Alicia eventually joined us too. And it was like, wow, this is fun. We've got camaraderie. You've got a whole group of like-minded people. We all do our own things, but we all bring some sort of value to it.
Yep.
We're like, other people might enjoy this. We can have it grow, and it's not for anything other than trying to show people that this is a good lifestyle. You know, it's good for you mentally. And then here it just grew, and people were showing up, and now you can get in there and be like, hey, I'm running 2 miles tomorrow at a 12-minute pace. Who wants to go with me? And they will show up, or there's people that are like, hey, I'm doing 10 miles at a 6-minute pace. You want to go with me? And it's formed, and now there's people running all over Crossville. It's just
It's
cool.
cool. It's a tribe. Like Martha and I, when we're going to the workout in the mornings, we'll see like
All these little glow
all
sticks.
these little glowing like lights will flash by on Lantana Road. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, cool. This is awesome.
Who would have thought, though, that people would just show up at 4 a.m? I mean, rain, snow, the elements don't matter. You just get out there because you love it. You love how it feels. So many people are like, oh, I don't love running. And it's like, I don't either. I hate it. Every morning when we show up, Alicia's my training buddy. We'll complain the whole time some days. We're like, oh, my gosh, that mile felt like 3. But when you get done, that's what I live for. It's like, man, I just did some hard shit. And it's 5 a.m, you know?
So go back into like, and you touch on this as much as you want to touch on it, but like for me, if I am not active, I am not as kind of a person as I could be.
Oh, no, I'm terrible.
And so for a lot of people, like, thankfully I never went down like the substance route or anything like that. I would call myself like a craft beer enthusiast. Probably drank way too much than I should have in like a certain phase of my life. But how has this endurance athleticism, running, long distance running, how does that kind of play into your like, not like your trajectory of who you want to be as a person now, you know, and just however you want to touch on that.
So I'm going to go back into my backstory.
Okay.
I grew up in a very unconventional home. My parents did not do the best that they could have done with what they had, and we were in and out of foster care, living with grandparents, aunts, uncles, and I ended up going down a drug path, and that lasted for about a year of my life, and I'm like, I don't even want to be a part of my family. I don't want to live like this. I want to be better for me, and I had 2 young kids at the time, and so I started dabbling a little bit and working out, and I saw the change that it was making in me. I didn't want to be known for being a bar rat or for anything negative. And when I saw the positive, not just what made me positive, but you get positive attention. You have people that are like, how did you do that?
Yeah.
Why are you doing
You're doing
that?
something hard.
Yes, you're doing something hard, and you're showing up every day. And there's something that builds a confidence in you. So all these little pieces of me that basically had holes punctured in it as a child, I was filling all of these voids myself. I didn't have family doing it. I didn't have a spouse doing it. I learned how to fill my own pillars. And the longer that I've stayed on this course, the more that my confidence has grown in it. And there's something about, like last year I ran 2,100 miles. And for me, that's a lot.
In a year?
The whole year, from January to December, 2,100.
Insane.
I know, from here to like just past Utah and back. But that is something that on my hardest days, if somebody's giving me a hard time, if there's somebody that doesn't like me or starting drama in my life, nobody can take that from me. Nobody. And there's something that you can walk around with your head held high, knowing that you're just living your most authentic life. And that many miles and that many hours, it's just you and God talking. You sort through everything in your life. You know, I'm constantly dissecting how I could be a better mother, if I could have handled a situation better, maybe where I want to go in my life. And by the time I get done with Chicago this year, I'd like to start run coaching.
Okay.
So it's just it has become my identity, but it's not all of who I am,
Right.
you know, but it is a very large chunk.
How does it play into your daily struggles? So, like, I know for running, a lot of people, it's an escape, but you can still be in your own head while you're out there pounding pavement.
Mm-hmm.
So, how does that physical exertion and just like time away by yourself, just being in your own head, help you approach just everything that a normal week throws at you?
You know how they say you have a knee-jerk reaction with things? Running allows me to have that step back. So I'm like, you know what? I'll handle this tomorrow after my run. And I'll get out there and I just dissect whatever it is that I'm going through, and then I can go back and handle it a little bit better versus just flying off the handle for something. And my life is chaotic. I am a single mom of 4 kids.
Okay.
I work a full-time job.
How old are your kids?
17, 16, 13, and 9.
Okay.
So I know I'm about to have 3 high schoolers.
You're in the thick of it.
I am in the thick. Actually, you know what? Not so much. When they were 3 under 3, whew, that was rough.
Yeah.
I was like a mother goose in a parking lot, just gathering my little ducklings just to get in the grocery store. But now I have 2 drivers. But I have a small business, and so like I get up at 3 in the morning, feet on the pavement by 4, usually home by 5:30 to get them ready for school, take them, get to my job, and as soon as I'm off, I'm getting my kids from school, going home, and I'm doing my shirt business. And so it's just boom, boom, boom. I have people ask me, how do you do it? And the truth is, I have no choice to do it this way, you know, and that's one thing for people who want to get started. Also, you have to make it a priority. There's people that are like, oh, I can't do that. It's too cold, or I don't want to.
How did you incorporate it into your daily cycle? Like, okay, so for people, they're like, I want to get healthy. I want to start moving. I want to start running. But that going from I want to do this to I am now doing this every day, that's hard. What if you could give some, like, what would be your best advice for somebody that just started being active or just started running, and they're like, how can I make this to where it's more habitual and it's easier to consistently hold myself accountable?
Being intentional,
Okay.
100%. When I was struggling with, I don't want to do it today, I'll do it later. I always have to pull myself out and look at the big picture. There's days that I wake up and I'm like, I don't want to do it today. You know, it'll be okay to skip one, but I have to be like, it's not about today, it's about Boston. For me, it's about Boston. So I have to be like, if I don't show up today, I'm not going to get to where I want to be. But then, and so I'm really big on writing mantras on my mirror or doing little things like writing things out. I was in therapy right before my divorce for 2 years. And one thing is there's power in saying things out loud, and there's power in putting it on paper and checking it off. And so on my paper most mornings, running is on there, and it is something that has to be checked off. And so it took me a while to get there. But if you say, I'm eating breakfast, I am eating lunch, I am breathing, I am having the things that you need to survive, I put that in my running in the same category as that. There is no option. And once you do that, it's a lifestyle. If I miss a run now, or I am like, I don't want to do it, and I don't, my whole day is thrown off because it is now part of my cycle. But showing up consistently, and you might not want to start running 2 miles a day. You might just want to run from light pole to light pole for, I don't know, 400 meters. But what matters is getting out and doing it and then recognizing the feeling you get afterwards. Nobody run, well, I'm not going to say nobody, but for me, I didn't run and was like, oh man, I hate that. I'm never doing it again. I was like, I hate that. That sucked. But damn, it felt good.
Yeah.
Damn, it felt good. And I was
I
more.
feel accomplished. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
I feel like I did something awesome. And then once you stick to it, all it took for me, and Michael says it all the time, when you finish a marathon or any race, you're like, man, I'm not doing it again, or I can do it faster.
Yeah.
And I can do it faster. And so I struggled this year after I ran my marathon, or last year, I keep saying this year. I ran it in October, and that I had nothing else to live for after that. I was like, man, I've spent this whole time training. What do I do now? And so I started toying with the idea of Boston. And once I signed up for a race and PR'd and I saw my progress, I'm like, from January to December, shedding the amount of time I did off just because I showed up for myself every day. It's like, pat yourself on the back. You're like, hell yeah, I did that. And I did it fast. And then you watch your time go down. And if you're a competitive person like me, that's all it takes.
How do you do nutritional management in while you're running? So like talk through like when you first got into running, like how much were you thinking about nutrition and managing that? And then now kind of like when you go into a half or a full, what do you do now?
Okay. Fueling is everything. You can train, you can put in the miles, you can show up, but if you are not fueling yourself properly, your runs are crap. You don't have the energy, you don't hold your head as high, your body is drained, and I spent probably 8 months running, just testing out different gels, getting sick, feeling tired, and then I really locked in on nutrition. Now, I eat like crap. I'm fueled by fast food almost every day, but I do make sure I get my carbs in before my runs. And actually, Zach and Alicia make fun of me all the time because they're out there with no water or anything. And I'm like, I'm munching on my peanut butter sandwich while we're running because you need those carbs. And so leading up to a race, typically for me, a race is on Saturday. I spend the 3 days leading up getting in at least 450 carbs.
Okay.
So, and then the morning of the race, something really carby like oatmeal, maybe some yogurt and plenty of fruit. And it's amazing how the difference that you feel and how strong you feel those first few miles. And then every 4 miles, I take a gel depending on how long the run is. And the whole goal is to never deplete yourself, but to keep it steady. So you don't wait until you're tired to start putting in your gels or whatever it is that you're needing, because it keeps you strong the whole time. It will absolutely make or break a race.
Talk about community, because like for me, I try to get up and be active every day or every other day. And I know that if I miss 3 or 4 days, I'm going to get a very angry text message from a guy named Ben Fleer. He's going to be like, why aren't you in the gym? I'm going to come get you. So talk about how, like, even Crossville Run Club, or just like, you have your homies that you run with, and those are like your buddies. How do you need those people in your life to keep you accountable?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. I would not be the runner I am without the community. Accountability is everything. Mm-hmm. The first step for me was getting a coach, just because that is the accountability. He's going to be checking your Strava. He's going to be seeing what your numbers are, telling you whether you need to throttle back or you're capable of more than that, maybe a little more push. But to have somebody text you in the morning and be like, hey, you're up. And you're like, yes, I am. And they're like, we got to go. Having somebody depend on you, And I've got about 5 women in my circle, which we have the whole run community, but my 5 that are really close, every day we're checking on each other. Hey, what are you doing today? And if somebody's sick and they can't, it's like, okay, we can't wait for you to get back. What can we do to get you back on your feet? It pushes you. Accountability is absolutely everything. When I first came back, before I started running with everybody, I would find myself slipping, like, okay, I'll go a little later, and my runs would get further. Some days it'd be 9 o'clock, and then I have to turn around the next day. But when you have people counting on you and saying, hey, we're going to do this together, there is something about building a friendship with people who suffer with you. And you are out there suffering sometimes for 20-plus miles, and you build some of the best friendships.
Shared suffering I think that's how... that used to be how humans bonded way back, hundreds, thousands of years. But like, if doing type 2 fun by yourself is way worse than doing type 2 fun with a group of people who are also like whining with
Yes.
you about how much
Yes.
this sucks. You know, it's like,
And we all take turns. Maybe somebody had a bad day, so they'll spend one run just completely venting about life, and the next day you're like, "It's my turn."
yeah, now you have to listen.
Yeah, you have to listen to my crap now.
I also like how much there's like those types of, we're all the same kind of person, whether it's like mountain biking or kayaking or endurance, like trail running or marathon, like the same kind of people are drawn to those same kind of things. And typically those are the kind of people that say horrible things to your face.
Yes.
And they say great things behind your back.
Yeah.
You know, so like someone will show up and they'll have like mismatched whatever, and you just get ridiculed by the
Yes.
parking lot of people who
Oh
are
my
just
gosh,
like, you know what
so
I mean?
true,
Like,
yes.
like talk about the community aspect and why we need it. Like,
Um,
I need people who are gonna like give me crap.
yes,
You know? Like, I need those people. in my
That's
life, 'cause
exactly what
that
I want
fuels me
too.
on.
And then they also show up and tell you when you think you're not capable. I just ran a 10K that I wanted to do in sub 46, and I had Zach and Caleb, and they were like, "Are you kidding me? Why are you lowballing yourself so much? You're capable." And I'm like, "No, that's taking a minute off of my time."
Mm-hmm.
But your friends believe in you more than you do. And when you have them telling you, you can do this, you've run with us, you've been doing it for months, I'm telling you, you can. And then I showed up at my last 10K and did it in 41 and some change. And I was like, y'all believed in me when I did it.
Yeah.
You need people there to see in you what you don't, you know? And there's also a part of it too, the better you get, or the faster you get, that you rub off on them and they're like, I want to do better, or I want to come back around. Alicia Ashburn is a perfect example. She started running and absolutely blew my mind. I will never forget. She did 7 miles on a treadmill, and I was like, where does your mind go for that? What do you do? I mean, you're just a hamster on a wheel stuck in your own thoughts.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of it. You get stuck in your own thoughts. You don't have social media to scroll to distract you. You don't have a book to pick up. You're not got a drink in your hand to drown it away. You were forced to work through your problems because you damn sure aren't out there thinking about how much you love running.
Right, exactly.
You're like, where can I escape in my head? And you start sorting through your problems. And it's just, that's where I was going. Sorry. When she got me there, I was like, I'm going to start doing this. And then I was like, I'm ready she had stopped, did her half. I did my marathon, and she came back around and was like, bro, I want to do that too. And I was like, let's go. Let's go. And so we've just been fueling off of each other. I would not have that if we didn't have a community to push. I wouldn't have my PRs if I didn't have a community to push. And the people who show up with us will tell you the exact same thing. You need each other. Life is hard alone, and we're not meant to do life alone. People are tribal people. There is a time for solo. I love a good solo run, get out there and clear my mind, but it's not the same as shared suffering. You know, community is absolutely everything, and it's not just in endurance. It's whether it's your church community, or whatever you do with your people. You know, we have to have people to get through. Go find people. People need people, and preferably healed people, because hurt people, and healed people help heal people. And so that's what I love about the Run Club. Most of us, almost all of us, have gone through a divorce, more so recently, or trying to sort through co-parenting, or maybe somebody has lost somebody, or they're losing something valuable to them. And we just get out there in the trenches with one another and listen to what we're going through and encourage each other to do better. And we make each other better. We pour into each other, and in turn, we go home, and that pours into our families. It just makes us better people.
Yeah. What was your first marathon like?
Oh, it was. I've only done one.
Okay.
It was 7 bridges, and Michael ended up giving me my race plan the day before I went. I knew all these people were like, "Oh, I'm doing this mileage or this pace at this mileage, and then on the second half, I'm going to do this." And they had all their splits down, and I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing.
You're like,
yeah,
I got a gel pack.
Yeah, I got a gel pack and a handheld of tailwind. And Michael said, pick your first mile is always your slowest. You do not want to gas yourself out. And that, oh man, I love doing that. You waste all this energy and all your carbs that first mile. He said, but pick your pace, hold it, and by mile 8, you'll know if you'll be able to make it the rest of the way. And I was like, 8? Are you kidding me? I almost have 20 more to go. Anything can happen in 20 miles.
Right.
But I picked my pace. It was probably around 8. And I held it. And each lap you're like, oh my God, okay, I do it. I did it. I did it. I did it. And then I got to mile 22 and shit hit the fan. My body was shattering. That's a long time to hold a pace, but 8 or any pace at all. But for me, that's what the pace that I was running was, about an 8. And leg cramps started kicking in, and you start questioning. They say that the first third of the race you run with your legs. The second you run, I'm probably butchering this, you run with your mind, and the last you run with your heart. And by God, that is so true, because you want to stop. I was like, I could just walk the rest of the way. Who cares? I accomplished it. Finishing is still something, and it absolutely is. I just set bigger goals for myself. And so you push through. By mile 25, I stopped at an aid station. My legs were so cramped up. I'm like, somebody give me salt tabs. And I pushed through, and then I missed Boston by a handful of minutes. But it was enough for me to be like, hell yeah, I'm coming back.
Well, you were close enough that you were like, this is possible.
It is possible. It was, and it would have been awesome to hit it, but it was not my plan. I wanted to get as close to that time as possible. And so to miss it by close to 5 minutes, I'm like, I can definitely do this. One more training cycle, get into Boston, and then I don't know, maybe retire from running. I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably not.
What's your next one? So your next one, your plan is to qualify for Boston, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
In Chicago. I got into the Chicago lottery, which is like, God, it's just been so good to me, because it gave me something so big to look forward to. I mean, there's 7 world marathons, and that's one of them. And so I will qualify as long as my body is healthy. My mind is in it. I am there. I'm willing to put in the miles. I think it's October 12th.
Okay.
And so Alicia's going with me. Actually, Michael and CG are coming up there too.
Okay.
He'll find out when he watches this, but we're going to ask him to pace us. Since he's already there, he may as well be useful, Michael.
Yeah.
Get us across finish line. So I did it in about 3:35, and for a woman of my age, I needed a 3:30 to qualify. So Michael's got me on a 3:10 training plan right now. He's like, "You getting in?"
Yeah.
So
like if I could, I don't know. It sounds like, I think your story is actually more common than you think, and I really want. I've enjoyed doing this, because I've enjoyed trying to highlight other people's stories, and to highlight that at a certain point in your life, your story is your story, but it can't hold you back from who you should be.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of people like to revel in the difficulties that life's thrown at them, and they use that as a badge to say, I can't do things.
100%. You can use it as an excuse, or you can choose to use it as fuel. And I chose, from where I came from, I can be like, oh my gosh, I grew up in this crappy home, and my parents didn't love me like they should have, and they didn't take care of us like they should have. And I could go down that same generational cycle. Or I can be like, hell no, I don't want that. I want better for me and my kids, and I'm going to use it as fuel to get away from that as far as possible. Mm. And that is always an option, always. And it's easy. The easiest option, or the hardest option, is not always the easiest. You're going to have to take all that out. But the right thing is not always the easiest thing. And so that's what I chose to do with my life. And I try to encourage people who come to the run group to do that also. It's like, I'm going through it right now, and I'm just going to stay at home. It's like, you could do that, or you could fight against it, and your life will be so beautiful on the other side of it. And I am living proof that that is it, because I have picked myself up from a crappy situation and put myself to where I'm at now. And it's not because I'm anything special. It's because I made an intentional choice, and that everybody has that choice. And it doesn't even have to be because they went through bad things. It could be they woke up one day and said, I just want to start walking. I just want to start lifting weights 2 or 3 days a week. It has to be intentional. And if you lock in on it and you say, this is what I want, if I'm eating and I'm breathing, then I'm going to be doing this also, you will see change, positive change.
How has your daily habits affected your kids positively?
Oh, absolutely amazing. My 17-year-old daughter has been getting up to go to the gym at 5 a.m, and that is so crazy, because teenagers like to sleep in, she was. But it's like she gets up and she goes, and I'm watching her. My 16-year-old son actually came to me this week and was like, today's his first day, going to be going to the gym, and he's like, can you get me a gym membership? Let's go. And it's like, it pours into them. What the examples that you set, your children watch you. Mm-hmm. Even if you're not saying anything, they are watching you. You are their model. And they pick up on these. And then eventually you're gone and you see the positiveness that's rolling in their life, especially when they start taking initiative on their own. And I think we're all much happier. I really do. Because when I am not running or exercising, anything physical, I am not the best version of myself. I get cranky. I get in my own head.
Same.
And I probably wouldn't have that many friends. But when you get it out there and you just feel good, like I said, you pour into the people around you. Mm-hmm. And they feel that. I'm seeing it every day. It's like I get up, I do my own life. And then people just come to you and they're like, how do you do this? And then you watch them. I have my friend Sarah I met in Knoxville, had never run a day in her life. And I've been back since July, and she's got her first half coming up. And we've watched her time go from like 13-minute miles to, she sent me a screenshot of hitting like 8:50. And she's like, look where I'm at. And I'm like, gosh, it is so beautiful to be a part of somebody's story and watch them see your passion. Because there's people that'll be like, she's egotistical, or she does this for the wrong reasons, but you don't. When you see that you have made an impact on somebody in a positive way, there is no greater joy. It's unmatched. And so there's one.
People hate themselves,
100%, but they're there. They're always there. They're like, oh, she wants to brag about her time. Do I, or are you sad about yours?
Exactly.
It's like,
No, that's true.
Let's toe the line and go, and we'll see.
I work online pretty much every day. I call them the people of the internet.
Yeah, just sitting.
And it's just, when you read some of the comments, I try to put myself in their headspace. I'm like, who is the person that would say that kind of thing? Mm-hmm. The kind of person that needs to go run.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. You're loathing, you're in self-pity. Somebody else is making a positive change to get off the couch and go do something. And then you're like, the only thing that makes sense to you at that time, because you feel bad about yourself for not doing that, is to attack the person doing the thing.
Which is so childish. I've heard it all. I'm a pavement princess. I lie on my times. She probably doesn't even do snot rockets or crap in the woods. And I'm like, y'all don't even know what kind of nasty runner I am. And shit gets wild out there sometimes. But you don't care, because at the end of the day, you know that they want what you have or what you have done. And it's just a matter of just get up and go.
Describe the running community at large. So there's like your trail runners, there's like your marathon guys, there's like your daily, 2-3 milers are just doing it for fitness. So like, what is running at a 10,000 foot perspective?
Oh my gosh, everywhere. I like from the ones that will run a telephone pole and then walk the next one and then run, and so on and so forth, to those that are all the way up to ultra runners, which I think they are crazy people to
What
get.
What is an ultra? Like, what's an ultra runner?
Anything over 30 plus miles. I think it might be 30.2, but there's people who, well, you've done an ultra, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. You're next level.
It was a baby ultra. It was like just over 30, but
just over. That's still so many miles.
George and Chelsea did it with me.
I know.
Yeah. I think we're doing it again this year.
They tried to rope me into that, but when I saw the elevation, I was like, I'm a pavement princess. I am going to get it next time. I will. This Mad Mallard, the next one will be as close as I get, at least this year. But there are so many. You can be any of them, whether you just want to go into a couple 5Ks a day. We have Fidel here in town, who is one of the most knowledgeable runners I know, but for the longest time, he'd never run over 8 miles. But then you have me, Marlo, Chelsea, who prefer marathons. And then there's you, my friend Ashley, she's an ultra. And I talked about her on Michael's podcast. There's people who, like me, will put a shirt on that says, I ran 2,100 miles this year because I'm so proud of it. And then she ran 2,100 miles, and she's like, yeah, I did it. It's cool. I was in the woods. It was fun. Took pictures of lots of birds, trees, and mushrooms. And I'm like, you're a psycho. But it just depends on how much you love it and how far you want to push your baseline back. I read 2 books this year that absolutely changed my mindset.
What are they? Recommend them.
Comfort Crisis.
Okay.
And Endure. And I think Cam Haines.
Oh, that's Cam.
Yeah. I'm telling you, you want to talk about moving your baseline for doing hard things right there. We were not meant to be put in boxes, and we were not meant to sit behind a screen all day. We were sent to forge, to hunt, to take care of our people. And when you realize that we don't have to have all these things, it pushes what you think is hard is no longer hard. You know, it pushes it back. I believe because I've given up so many things. Like when I moved back from Knoxville, I started weeding out things. Like I didn't have to have a super nice car. I didn't have to have a big, huge house because we live beyond our means most of the time as people. And I came back and I put my girls. I started sharing a room because it was just me and them, or my kids, and we didn't have space to just all you hang out here and you hang out here in your own rooms
You're
anymore.
forced to
We're forced
cohabitate.
in the
Yeah,
living room,
yeah.
and I tell you what, I will never change anything about it because we have game nights almost every Sunday. We're just forced to be with each other, you know, and I love that. My kids are probably like, my mom's a helicopter mom, but that's how you start.
It's real life.
Yes, it is, and it's how it should be because it goes back to we need people, and we especially need our family when we can, or when we can have them. And anyway, so reading those books and seeing that, I think he says, and I could be messing up these numbers, when you're running or you're doing anything hard and you want to quit, you are only at 40%. You have 60 more in the tank, but your brain is saying, hey, this is hard, this is uncomfortable, let's stop. Mm-hmm. And this happens almost every run. You look down and you're like, oh my gosh, I have 5 more miles. That's typically about 50 minutes more of work. You don't want to do that, but you do it anyway because you're working on pushing that baseline back. And so at the end of the day, once you do that, and when I say baseline, it's your baseline for hard things. Like used to, my grocery order could have been screwed up, and I'm like, oh my God, this is awful. But now something real bad has to happen before I'm like, this is a pretty shitty day, you know, because you keep pushing it and you realize what you need and what you don't need in life, or what you want versus a need. And let me tell you, people have far more wants than we do needs. And if you can start weeding them out and realizing that things like materials, money, those things are great, they are absolutely not everything. Mm-hmm. I walked away from a comfortable life that my husband at the time had provided for us to working 2 jobs and being where I'm at now. But I do it because I'm happy. Mm-hmm. I don't need these materials. I don't need all these things, you know, and it makes a difference in how people see you, and you don't even notice. I'm telling you, there are people that have come to me and been just asking me questions about life, and I feel like a normal person. I'm in survival mode every day. But people start noticing these changes in you, and they want a part of it, and it's easy to get there. So,
what do you want to leave people with?
I would encourage everybody to find their passion in something. It doesn't even have to be physical activity. It obviously is for me, but whether it's quilting or crocheting or painting, whatever it is, you find something to channel your positive energy in. And
Michael says whatever blows your hair back.
Yeah, whatever blows your hair back. He would say that. And stick with it, because there is something so empowering about consistency.
Yeah.
And you watch yourself get better and improve, and you see how you become better as a person. Instead of all cranky and, you know, sad all the time, you get a glow about you because you're living life for you. You're pouring back into yourself. A lot of times, especially in relationships, you put your identity or your self-worth in your person. And I did that for a long time. It was my mood depended on how my husband and I were doing, or the type of day that I was having depended on that. And all this running for me gave me the space to operate in how I wanted to operate. And I poured back into myself to where nobody affects me anymore. Nobody's going to shake me because I'm solid. I have made myself solid in who I am. And it's just pouring into yourself.
I know you probably don't want to hear this, and it probably is going to make you feel uncomfortable, but you inspire a lot more people than you realize. So thanks for doing what you do. Thanks for just getting out there and doing hard things.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming.